Ben with Super Pump Podcast here to tell you today how being imperfect and the right coach can help you achieve your dreams. Come on with me here as we walk through. We are down here at the Miami Dolphins Stadium, and everyone is getting ready for game day. As we come along here, the Dolphins are known for the 1972 Dolphins, 17-0, only NFL team to go undefeated. That has never changed in over 50 years. And every year when the last NFL team loses, they pop the corks. One of the things, though, everyone remembers the perfection, but nobody remembers the imperfection. Miami was granted an expansion franchise in 1966. In their first 4 seasons, they only won 15 games. That's less than 4 games a year, which meant double-digit losses every year. Finally, in year 5, they made it to the playoffs. And you know what happened? They got trounced in the playoffs. The next year, they made it back to the playoffs. They made it all the way to the Super Bowl, and they gained the dubious distinction of being the only team at that time to not score a touchdown in the Super Bowl. They only scored 3 points. Dallas resoundingly trounced them 24-3. But they had a legendary coach. His name was Don Shula. After all the years of losing, the owner of the Dolphins, Joe Robbie, he said, we need a better coach. Coaching can make all the difference. We've got some talent. He went out, got Don Shula from the Baltimore Colts, and Shula was able to help turn this team around. So they lost in the Super Bowl 24-3 to the Cowboys. And then in 72, they went on that magical run. Here is the statue to Don Shula with a couple of players from that 1972 team. But what's interesting about that is, in that particular year, they had a Hall of Famer. Bob Greasy was their quarterback. Game 5, he goes down. His ankle is shattered. I mean, just ugly injury. Their backup is a 38-year-old Morale. He's been a journeyman in the NFL. They turned to him. In his first game, he was terrible. Do you know how many passes he completed? 6. 6 passes for less than 100 yards and an interception. Coach Shula had very little confidence in Morale during that time. But somehow they ran the ball 48 times and they managed to get a victory. With that victory, then, they were able to win that game 24-23 over Buffalo. They kept rolling along. They had several other close calls that season. Week 10, they narrowly beat the Jets 28-24. In the AFC playoffs, they were getting thumped by the Pittsburgh Steelers up in Pittsburgh. And they used a fake punt to turn that game around and win that game. Let me see the score here. 21-17. Then they played the Washington Redskins. They were the Redskins back then in the Super Bowl. And what was interesting about that was Morale had led them to a perfect record after Greasy went down, all 11 games. But in the Super Bowl, they turned back to Greasy. Now, you would have thought egos would have gotten in the way, but this was a team concept. They wanted to win the Super Bowl more than they wanted their personal accolades. Morale went back to the bench, never took a snap in that Super Bowl, and they won the Super Bowl. If you think about those two things, 1, they had a lot of imperfection before they were perfect, and 2, they had a great coach. Now, here's the postscript to this incredible story. 1973, they wanted to go back-to-back. Game 2, right out of the gate, they had this epic matchup coached by Don Shula of the Dolphins, John Madden of the Los Angeles Raiders. The Raiders beat them, ended their 19-game winning streak, and so then you could have thought the season's over. But they rolled off all these wins in a row, lost their second-to-last regular season game, and then in the AFC Championship, got a revenge game against Madden and the Raiders, and they managed to win that game, and then went on to the Super Bowl and beat Hall of Fame coach Bud Grant and the Minnesota Vikings to win their second straight Super Bowl. My hat goes off to them as much for their ability to power through imperfection as that perfect 17-0 1972 season. So if you need help with coaching, if you're right there, but you want to get over the hump and become more perfect in your imperfection, hit me up. I would love to talk to you, and got to go now. I'm headed to a game. See ya. Thanks for joining me today on the Super Pumped Life podcast. If you enjoyed today's show, I have 2 really quick next steps for you. First, subscribe or follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or YouTube so you don't miss future shows. Second, jump on over to superpump.com, where there are all kinds of great tips and tools for you to launch your Super Pumped life. Keep well, and I'll see you next time.